What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Louisiana Outdoorsman. As you can tell, I'm still battling this illness. I cannot shake it. It's been about 2 weeks now, I guess. I don't even know. I'm over it at this point in time. It's preventing me from getting out there. It's not preventing me from going out and fishing or hunting, but I don't want to make it any worse than what it already is. So, as I said last time, whenever I did my what's in my hunting bag, I said I was going to do one with my tackle box, and so that's what today's video will be. I will break down what is in my tackle box, what I use, why I use it, where I use it, when I use it, how I use it. So we'll get to that in a minute. To say I do saltwater fish way more than I freshwater fish, as you can tell by this being my saltwater tackle box and this little simple thing being my freshwater tackle box. But I'll go over my saltwater more in depth, and I'll kind of makeshift go over my freshwater tackle box because there's not much in there. But stay tuned and let's crack open this box and see what we got. Alright, I guess we'll break it down to top to bottom. I guess we'll go from there. First, I just got these simple little snips. I know it's fingernail clippers. I think somebody gave these to me, that's why I actually have them. I'm not gonna go out there and buy fancy fingernail clippers just to cut my line, but like I said, they were given to me. It's basically fingernail clippers that you use to cut line and all that good stuff. I do use it though, even though it was given to me. I probably wouldn't go out and buy one because either just bite the line or whatnot. I have a pre-rigged, this has been there for a while actually, since I fished a tournament a while back. It's just a pre-rigged popping cork from whenever I go redfish or trout fishing. Popping cork with a 50-pound leader on it, probably about 1.5 foot to 3/8 yellow jig head. I just got it pre-made because I got tired of breaking off and retying, so had one ready to go. Have a spinnerbait that I use sometimes for redfish. So I'll put something like this right here, this matrix shad. I'll put this matrix shad on the spinnerbait. Basically, picture that jig head right there, and that's what it looks like in the water. It looks like a fish swimming. These blades give it nice propulsion and nice vibration and make it seem like it's a live fish swimming. So just got a spinnerbait in there and everything like that. It's basically just a bunch of extra junk actually I got in there. Got my little bait knife that I use. It's pretty rusted. Like I said, I just use this to cut bait real quick. Like if I catch mullet or something like that, mullet, shad, anything I use for cut bait, use this trusty little knife. Open up the big top portion of it. Have my trusty pliers. I got tired of buying those stainless or nickel plated pliers, so I went and just spent the extra money and bought these. I think it was like 20 bucks at Academy. Some aluminum pliers, never rusted, never have to worry about them sticking or anything. It's got the little line cutter right here as well. Man, they come in this handy dandy little case that you can attach to your belt loop, or you can just clip it to your pants. Clip this to your pliers right here. I'm not gonna put it all the way in, but you can clip it that way. When you take it in and out, if they fall, they're gonna be connected to the clip, so you ain't gonna worry about them going bloop in the water, which has happened because I've actually had another pair of these before and they went bloop in the water. Have all sorts of assorted line. 15-pound test. I like this trilene stuff. It's good line. A lot of people don't like it. I don't know why. It's never failed on me, which is why I keep going back to it. When it fails me, I might switch, may not. But I've been using this for years, like at least 10 years, and it's never failed me. Reasonable fail, at least. I mean, it's failed me, but I've pushed it to its limits. It's a 15-pound test, 20-pound test, which is I use mostly on my open face reels. Have a 50-pound test, which I use as leader line. Instead of going out and buy the expensive leader line that you can buy at the stores for like 100 yards for 20 bucks, you can buy 275, if I can keep this on the reel, 275 yards for 10 bucks. So it's a win-win. Regular 15-pound test, 15-pound test, 25-pound test. I think this actually belonged to somebody else and I just kept it. I don't know. I don't use 25-pound test much. It's either 15 or 20. What I stick with These little bubbles, I'm sure you may be asking, what in the world is that? I've never seen a bobber that looks like that. I will put this to the side and I will come back to this later. This goes along with another quote-unquote bait and lure style setup that I have in this tackle box. So I'll get to this later. I'll put it to the side and bring it back up. Like I said, just a bunch of random stuff that I just threw in there. Some barrel swivels. I use these for my jug lines, which is why they're humongous. Another popping cork. As you can tell, it's got some weights to it. Makes all this good action that you want whenever you're popping this in the water for get the attention of the redfish and the trout or whatever you're fishing for. Other than that, some Germex. You never know what kind of nasty stuff is in these waters whenever I'm fishing, especially here in Louisiana. So I always keep some Germex and some HIPAA, which is basically a antiseptic, antimicrobial skin cleanser. Because like I said, you never know what's in these waters, especially if you get a cut from these fish, which I tear my hands up when I'm saltwater fishing down here. Either shrimp poking me, fish gills cutting me, fish teeth cutting me. I always end up getting cut at least one time while I'm fishing, so it's always good to have some stuff to clean your hands. Like I said, I just have a bunch of junk in this top half, so I'll put these pliers back, but I will keep this bubble out and get back with you guys on that. Now to get to the top half, as you can, I don't know if you can see or not, but they have 3 little separate tackle boxes within this little, and I kind of keep it organized to where I have all of my hooks in one jig heads. I got all assorted kind of type of jig heads. Got my treble hooks. It's all tangled. I don't use treble hooks that often. These I probably need to get rid of. They're really rusted. Basically just hooks upon hooks upon hooks. As all these hooks, these are what you've seen me use almost every video when I'm fishing for the catfish. Ow. See what I mean? I'm just getting stuck by hooks. It don't make no sense. When I'm fishing for the catfish or redfish, or whenever you see me saltwater fishing, these are my 2 main go-to hooks. They're not very big at all. It's a 3/0 circle hook. That one's a bit rusty. I probably should throw that one away. A 3/0 circle hook and a 4/0 circle hook. These are my go-tos all day long. Every once in a while, you'll see me use a 5/0, but only if I know I'm going to catch bigger fish, like bigger catfish, or if I know we're going to target bigger redfish or whatnot. These 5/0 hooks are what's mostly all on my jug lines right here, since majority of the time I am catching bigger catfish on my jug line. So like I said, just random hooks. These monster hooks I normally use when I used to shark fish. I don't shark fish much anymore, but those are the hooks I did use when I caught the black tips, bull sharks, and all that good stuff. Like I said, just random hooks, barrel swivels, which I use also on my jug lines, which is why I have all of those in here. I don't use these much on my fishing reels and stuff when I'm fishing. I use these barrel swivels, these regular barrel swivels without the clamp on it. I use this as the top half of my Carolina rig. Whenever I have the weight right here and then the leader and coming off to the hook right here, I use this towards my Carolina. Some 3-way swivels. Most of this is, like I said, I use this on my jug lines. I don't use majority of these swivels and stuff besides these barrels on my regular fishing setups. These were this is the spinnerbait, saltwater spinnerbait I was talking about earlier, the redfish magic and stuff like that, where I put the matrix shad. It basically looks like that swimming through the water. It works good. You haven't seen me catch much on videos because I haven't used it much on videos, but this does work very well. I have caught redfish on this. I have caught other fish as well, saltwater fishing on this. This is a deadly bait when the time is right. Just some regular panfish hooks and a bunch of other miscellaneous random hooks. But as far as that, like I said, just a cover full of random hooks. And if that was full of hooks, you can imagine this is full of weights. Well, I say full, but they got a ginormous empty space. I can't say full. But this is also what you see me use. I don't use many weights besides maybe this 1/2 ounce egg sinker right here, which I use towards my Carolina rigs, and my 1 ounce pyramid weight, which I use whenever I'm using I'll use the 3-way swivels for that as well. When I have this pyramid weight sitting here on the bottom with a leader going to a 3-way swivel, going off and letting my bait free float over here in the water, and then line going back up to that. If the current's a bit heavy, I'll use a 2 ounce egg sinker, but that's pretty rare. I don't fish in too much of heavy current. Just some other random weights. I actually found this, you'd be surprised, just a miscellaneous group of lead weights, egg weights, that you'd be surprised. I found all of this like right here. Somebody just left like a whole pack of weights under a dock. It was like half buried into the ground and stuff like that, but you'd be surprised what people leave behind. It's good stuff. Weights are expensive. If you fish a lot, you know weights are very expensive. I have these light sinkers. If the current's not too strong and I'm getting that very slight little bite, I like to use these weights. That way I can feel the bite a lot better. But I don't have too many weights. It's basically a simple setup I use whenever I do fish. And as guaranteed, I will bring back up the reason why I had this bad boy set to the side, which is, this is I call it my Gulf Shores box, because every year, at least once or twice a year, at least once for sure, maybe twice, sometimes even 3 times, I'll go to the Gulf Shores and fish off the pier. I don't know if any of you guys ever been to the pier in Gulf Shores, but it is my favorite thing to do. I look forward to it every single year. And what this is I fish for Spanish mackerel, bluefish, ladyfish, any type of predatory fish that feeds on surface and subsurface over there. But what this is, take this out, you kind of hit this against something hard, and you get that little straw kind of out. This doesn't come all the way out, stays like that. So you take it out, and they have this hole right here, and you fill this end up with water up until you get about maybe almost all the way up. Then you'll clamp that back off, and then what you have is a few ounces of just solid weight and splashing effect whenever you put this back in the water. But this connects off. It's basically, you Carolina rig this as if this would be your weight on a Carolina rig. Then you have your 50-pound leader, which is right here, connected right there, and this is about 2 to 2.5 foot of 50-pound leader connected to basically just a treble hook tied off to this. And what this little piece of rubber, colorful rubber is, I don't know if you guys know, but you can buy those cheap little sunglass holders, and basically what the sunglass holder looks like that, and one end of your sunglasses goes here and it loops around your head, and the other one goes here. Basically that just cut into a bunch of little strips. And what happens is, when you're skipping this on top of the water, all of this weight and water that's in here is creating a big splash on top of the water, which looks like a feeding frenzy of other fish, or a wounded bait fish kind of skipping on top of the water. And the fish see that colorful piece that's all the way on the end, and they're just going and crushing this right here. They'll crush this and bite the treble hook in the meantime. Other ways you can fish for Spanish mackerel and stuff when I go to Gulf Shores, they got what's called a gotcha rig, or they call a zigzag rig. What you do is just tie this on and let this sink subsurface for about a second or two, and what you do is jerk it, and it basically zigzags back and forth like that in the water, and the fish just go crazy, especially when the sun is shining on this shiny material here. As you can see, this thing is torn up from Spanish mackerel teeth. Almost all of them in here, except, well, this one you can see as well, just torn up from Spanish mackerel teeth. Those teeth are no joke. I haven't used this. I bought this last year. I wanted to use it. Is this X-Wrap by Rapala, and I've heard so many people talking about this on the pier. I decided to go get one, but I bought it on like the second to last day. Didn't get a chance to use it because the bite was really slow, but I really want to use this next time I go out there. And they just say when the bite is on, fish will like legit tear this thing up. I've yet to try it. I've seen it done in person by other people, but I've yet to try it. So that is what these bubbles are for, in case you were wondering. But that closes off the third and final box that's in here. Alright, so I got all these matrix shads and all that good stuff, and then I have this right here, which is basically a fish gripper. I bought, ew, that's gross. I bought this online on Amazon, I think for like $5 or something like that. Basically what happens if you don't feel like fooling with the fish and you don't feel like getting your hands all slimy, if it's a catfish especially, just put this in the fish's mouth and clamp that shut. It doesn't hurt the fish, it doesn't put that much pressure on them, but then you could just either hold it like that and everything like that. And also if you want to weigh your fish, I bought the scale, digital scale, because I got tired of trying to read those little lines on the scale that has the little dashes on it. But you can put that in the little hole on here, and then you put your fish on there, clamp it, say blah blah blah, weigh your fish and all that good stuff. It's a good thing to have. You could also, it has a little tape measure on it. I don't use this, but I have a tape measure on my boat that I use. But if you want to measure your fish, it's a nice little setup. I think I bought both of these at the same time for a total like $15. It's really cheap. But that's basically what's in this section. Kind of save all this and move on to this side, which I'm not going to go into depth. It just, this side is a bunch of corks, really, floats, whatever you want to call them. Some of them got the little sound BBs inside of them that you're going to use to pop as well. These are the popping corks that I use. I don't use these too much unless I'm really in trouble and I'm out of corks. But these are the popping corks that I showed you earlier, and just some various assorted corks that got weights on the bottom and stuff like that. But I'm not going to go into great detail. You guys know what corks are, you know how to use them and all that good stuff. So put this up and I will get to my freshwater tackle box really quick. Voila, have the freshwater tackle box. As you can tell, the comparison from my saltwater tackle box to my freshwater tackle box is pretty comical. But if I pop this open, I do have a little bit of stuff in here. Like I said, I am not experienced in freshwater fishing whatsoever. I'm actually going freshwater fishing this weekend. So either you guys are going to get a good video of me catching fish, or you will get a very good laugh at me attempting to catch bass, brim, and all that good stuff. Just got a bunch of assorted stuff. Got a little buzz bait up here. Some various spinner baits that I have. Some crank baits, which I literally never use because I'm not even exactly sure. I mean, I know you tie it on. I mean, I know the gist of using these baits. You tie it on and cast it out and reel it in, but I'm not very skilled at using crank baits. Never have been. Got a little black and blue jig. Heard a lot about black and blue being the color, especially in stained water, and we got a lot of stained water down here in Louisiana. Got regular weights for your Texas rigs and regular flipping hooks and stuff like that. Bunch of little smaller baits, stuff for, we call them sockeye down here, also known as crappie up north, but we call them sockeye. Got a bunch of little jigs and little soft plastics and stuff like that. Another little jig right here. Bunch of spinner baits. I'm a big spinner bait guy because a lot of you know, being that I'm a beginner freshwater fisherman, that spinner bait's probably the easiest thing to use. You literally tie it on, toss it out there, reel it in, and either the fish is gonna bite it or it's not. Got a bunch of my panfish stuff down here, little small panfish hooks, little split shot weights that I need. I actually found this. I actually caught this at a public park pond one time, and it looks like a decently nice made by, looks like H2O Express. I mean, look, at least a $10 bait if I had to guess, and I've never used it, but it looks like it would have good action. A little sunfish or bluegill type imitation bait. Once again, just some more sockeye or crappie jigs, which you have. Some more spinner baits, smaller little tiny little buzz bait. Got a frog. I've always wanted to catch a fish on a frog. I've been so jealous of guys that can catch fish on frogs. I mean, I know I can, but it just looks so much fun to catch a fish on a frog. I just want to do it so bad. I just never had the patience to sit there and keep casting and casting and casting it. Don't ask me what this bait is. I have no clue. I think I bought this whenever I first started fishing. I was like, ooh, that looks interesting. Let me buy this little propeller type topwater bait, and never caught anything on it. I think I've used it maybe once. Another little spinner bait, as you can tell, goes along with all those. Some more little panfish type jig heads. I use these a lot. This is probably what I use the most out of this tackle box because I like to brim fish. a lot whenever I'm freshwater fishing, especially during the summertime here in Louisiana. You catch brim literally from here to here. I mean, they're monsters, and they're delicious to eat as well. Down here is a ton, and when I say a ton of, I'm not gonna take all of this out, but I mean, just an absolute mess of soft plastics. Oh, and a lot of it is these little baby brush hogs. I like baby brush hogs a lot. That's what I've had my most success on. I mean, I do have every once in a while, you got your stick worms and stuff like that, but I do use a lot of soft plastics whenever I'm bass fishing. Little bitty tiny corks for either brim or sockeye. Like I said, just corks galore. Little beaver style bait. I think I've used this maybe once. Got your power bait crappie nibbles that I use to brim fish and stuff like that. 12-pound test that I use on my bass setups. That's all up here and stuff like that. Pliers. Every tackle box needs pliers. Got my rag in case I need to wipe my hands. It's just basically a regular tackle box. I don't have anything fancy that's, especially in this freshwater tackle box, anything fancy that's gonna be out the ordinary. Just your regular soft plastics and stuff like that. I'm gonna shove all this stuff back in there. Some 8-pound tests. This is what I use, 8-pound test. You guys seen me whenever I was doing my challenge videos, whenever I said I had 8-pound tests. That's what was on those bad boys. This line right here, I don't have too much on it because I spent all of it up on that little spin reel up there. So 8-pound test is what I normally use. I know it's overkill whenever I do brim and stuff like that, but I like to make sure I get the fish in, unless I'm doing some type of challenge. But it is fun to fish with light line. So, close this bad boy back up, and I will get back with you once I save all of this stuff. All right, that is it, guys. Like I said, I hope I did not bore you too much with going through everything in detail and why I use it, how I use it, what I use it for, when I use it, and all that good stuff. I know a few of you have asked for it, which is why I'm doing it. I'm really gonna try my best. I will try my best to get you guys a fishing video, because I should be going, like I said, freshwater fishing this weekend. Like I said, either you're gonna get a funny video of me trying to catch freshwater fish, or you're gonna get a video of me actually putting a beat down on some bass and brim, which hopefully I can do for you guys. So make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, because I got some good content for you. I just got to get over all this sickness. That way I can get back to my 100% and back to my old self and get out there and get on some fish, ducks, and deer. The deer hunting video should be coming sometime in mid-January. I do have a trip set up with my buddy. Gonna go up north, hopefully get on a deer, and have some pretty good video for you guys for that. But anyway, not gonna waste any more of you guys' time, because I know you guys enjoy listening to me on these videos. Anyway, as always, stay tuned for another episode of Louisiana Outdoorsman, and smash that subscribe button